What do we have today? We've got the Dell AMD powered laptop. Typically we don't get too many Dell AMDs, but today it's a treat. So here we have the Dell Pro 14 AMD. This is the new product that's replacing the Dell Latitude line. Welcome to Dell. Let's do great things together. Okay, super cheesy, but I like it. Take the laptop out. The Dell Pro 14 PC 14255. Got it. Let's take a look at the included power adapter. We have a 65 watt brick and of course, standard made in China power cord. Not too much to say here. It's a pretty basic kit here. Dell Pro with that holographic Windows logo. Neat. Oh yeah, it's got a little soft cloth here for shipping. Very nice. Not much to say here. We've got your usual 10 keyless keyboard layout on this 14-inch. This is a touchscreen. It's got an IR camera. I believe Windows Hello support. Fingerprint reader on this model. Touchpad. Nice, decently soft click. Not too bad. It's backlit. Let's take a look. Ah, yes. You can see the backlit keys show up here. Let's get this set up and into Windows. Oh yeah, this is a barrel style power adapter. Even though it supports USB-C and USB-C charging, which I don't mind because then you're not eating up one of your USB-C ports with a power adapter. It has a co-pilot key, which, oh, everybody just loves that. I've installed a few things on it. CPU Z gives us a AMD Ryzen 5 Hawk Point 2. It says up to 4.9 gigahertz, and this one is hitting 3.9. 6 core, 12 threads. TDP of 28 watts. And this has the 740M graphics with those 4 compute units. 32 gigs of DDR5, 5600. And they are SO-DIMM, so these are not soldered. These are replaceable RAM sticks. Really awesome to see that. See what the insides looks like. And it looks like we've got captive screws, so that's kind of nice. Let's see how easy this case is to pull apart. I like to see the repairability of a unit. Gonna get some flat picks here, just to make sure I don't wreck anything. Once these cases come apart, they come apart pretty easy after the fact. But just trying to be gentle here so we don't wreck any components underneath. So we got 9 screws that are surrounding the bottom cover of the case. All right, so looking on the inside, I'm gonna flip this around. DDR5 SO-DIMMs here. We've got 16 gigs in slot 1 and 16 gigs in slot 2 for a total of 32 gigs. We have a 2230 SK Hynix 256 gig SSD. It's the 740M. There's nothing else going on besides the APU here. So we've got 1 copper heat pipe. We've got the blow through with the fan. It's pretty quiet. It's about, you know, on par with a framework laptop. 45 watt hour battery. Not much else to say. So this is a plastic chassis unit. This is not a Pro Plus or premium version or anything. This is just the Dell Pro. It's the Latitude replacement, where you had your Inspiron, which was the consumer line, and the Latitude was your business line. I think Pro just means business line now. So we're not, you know, this is a low end. There were low end plastic Latitudes as well, and I think that's what this is. You know, for some users, that might be the best option. So this has got the Ethernet board here with the 2 USB ports on the right side of the laptop. And it looks like there's a little breakout board here that has a ribbon going to it. So this could be replaced as one unit, one module. This side with the 2 USB-C ports and the HDMI port, it looks like that's all part of the motherboard here. They did some reinforcement on the USB-C module. I'm not gonna tear this laptop down because I'm only being loaned this laptop for a bit. Just kind of give you an idea of what the insides looks like. As far as repairability goes, definitely not gonna be as easy as a framework laptop, but being that it's a low-end laptop, there's probably not too much going on. So you won't have to do a whole big amount of teardown to get into things. The Wi-Fi card looks like it's a MediaTek Wi-Fi 6E 802.11ax 2x2 And it looks like Bluetooth might be bundled with that, possibly. I think that's it. Let's throw this back together and continue on with my review. PCIe X16 4.0 at X16 4.0. GPU clock is able to hit 2.4 gigahertz there. Let's see if that fan will ramp up. Not too bad. Let's do a little CPU-Z stress test here. Let's really stress this out. We're gonna do this and this. 96% GPU load, SoC at 64, 65, 18 watt GPU. I like to see the logical cores here. There we go. Yeah, it's hitting 88%. For some quick synthetic benchmarks, I ran Timespy from the 3D Mark demo, which is free on Steam, and anyone can download and run this without paying a dime. We only got a 1749 overall, 1550 graphics, and 6348 CPU score. Moving on to Cinebench R23, we were able to get a 9337 multi-core and 1694 single-thread score. I'm sure there's a bunch of stuff like AI tests you could do with it, and I really don't care. I'm here for the gaming tests. We've got the 740M, which has, this has 32 gigs of DDR5, so it can share up to 16 gigs of that memory. Let's see what kind of games we can play on this laptop. Let's take a look at some AAA gaming performance on the 740M. I haven't had a chance to check out this chip, but it's on par with the Ryzen Z1 Non-Extreme that was in some handhelds like that lower Asus ROG Ally with the Z1 chip. I didn't have time to set up my normal overlay, so we'll have to make do with the AMD Adrenalin overlay today, and it's a little bit buggy. But first we have CS2 at 720p. With FSR, we were able to hit 63 FPS average at medium settings. Bumping that up to high settings with FSR quality, we were able to do 43 FPS average at 1080p. So far, I probably would be playing this at 720p if I wanted a competitive frame rate, although 63 is not huge, it's okay. But in CS2, you definitely want over 100 FPS for that quick response time. Let's head over to Doom Eternal, and we're going to run this at high settings with no resolution scale and no upscaling at 720p. It's struggling to hit 60 FPS. We're getting 52 FPS average. It's okay, but those 4 compute units of the 740M are really struggling to make anything playable. This isn't even on par with the Steam Deck at this point. So we're gonna go to 1080p high settings, still no resolution scale, no upscaling, 29 FPS average. It's pretty lackluster. Would be pretty hard to play Doom Eternal on this. I would call this unplayable. Heading into Forza Horizon 5, another well-optimized game. We're going to run this at 720p, low preset, FSR set to performance. We're getting 48 FPS average. It's sort of playable. I mean, if you're in a pinch, you could maybe make this work. The frame times are a little bit rough. We're going to go to 1080p and see how this looks as well, also on low settings. 43 FPS average, same thing, low preset, FSR performance. It's tough. 740M is lacking here. Heading into Shadow of the Tomb Raider, ignore the results here on the right side. That was from a previous run. We're running this one at 720p, low preset, XESS performance. Got 41 FPS average. Had some issues with that overlay. Like I said, the AMD overlay is a little buggy. So actually look at the FPS counter that's in-game, because that's accurate. And yes, 41 FPS average on low settings. We're going to turn that up to 1080p with the same settings, and we're going to get 30 FPS average. For a cinematic type game, this might work, but it's rough playing on here. I wouldn't recommend it. For Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, it recommended FSR 1.0 and very low for the preset. So I'm just going to run the built-in benchmark, and you can see we're going to get 79 FPS average, which is, it's rough and blurry, but it's usable, I guess. So there's that. I didn't run this at 1080p, I just ran it at 720p because I just didn't have time. And lastly, Doom the Dark Ages. This one has been tough to run on just about everything. That id Tech 8 engine is not very well optimized at this point. We have 720p low preset with FSR Ultra Performance. And with how blurry and smeary it is right now, from what you're seeing, 30 FPS average is all we could manage with it. It's surprising that it's able to do this. But yeah, you can see the built-in stats on the right-hand side from the actual game itself. And we're going to try and switch this to XeSS Performance. And they're pretty on par, FSR and XeSS. Obviously you can't do DLSS because this is not an NVIDIA GPU. But that got us 24 FPS with XeSS Performance, 720p low. Well, there you go. It's not the most powerful, but it does get the job done. If your company gives you one, at least you'll know what its capabilities are. I tested battery life separately for my usual work tasks, and I got about 6 hours doing basic Teams chats and RDP sessions. Yes, it can game in a pinch, but it wouldn't be my preferred method. I'd still rather play on my Steam Deck. Currently, you could price this out at $11.29 on Dell's website, USD, for this exact configuration. I really wouldn't bother when you can get a DIY framework with better specs for the same price. Yes, you would have to put it together, and also that doesn't factor in the price of the OS, but you know where to get a better OS these days anyway, right? Anyway, that wraps up this quick gaming test and overview of the Dell Pro 14. If you like this content, be sure to give me a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. We are almost to 1,000 subscribers. If you want to see something special for 1K, let me know in the comments. I can get a poll together of the most commented subject, and I'll throw something together for that. You let me know, you awesome viewers. Anyway, take care, have a great week, and happy 4th to my American friends. God bless America. Bye now.